So in my last versus video, I did Palace versus Supreme and also Adidas versus Nike. I was trying to think of other brands to do a versus with, and Off-White and Bape came into my mind. And I can't even lie to you, like these brands are so like similar in like so many ways. Like they both revolutionized the streetwear like industry, and they both bring something new to the table. So with that being said, in today's video, I'm going to be going over Bape versus Off-White. But before we start this video, please leave a like, a comment, and also subscribe. And if you do like these type of videos, go check out my channel. I've got a whole catalogue of these type of videos on my channel. So without further ado, let's get into this. So Bape is a Japanese brand created by Nigo, and if you don't know who Nigo is probably like the Virgil Abloh of like back in the day. Like he was so creative with his like designs, and like he sort of put on for a lot of people in like the music sort of scene into fashion, names such as like Kanye West and like Pharrell Williams. So shifting over to Off-White, Off-White was created by none other than Virgil Abloh in America, and Off-White sort of brings something new to the table because it was a streetwear brand, but it also like dabbled in like the luxurious side, so it was sort of like playing both parts. And Virgil Abloh and Nigo are like so similar in like so many ways, so I'm probably going to do a versus on them like sometime in the near future. So subscribe, and yeah, you'll be able to check that out. So how I'm going to be judging this like versus is I'm going to break it down into 3 different categories. The first one is going to be iconic designs slash pieces that both brands have like come out with, and the second one is going to be collaborations, obviously other brands that the 2 brands have collaborated with, and the last one I'm just going to be going over like their clothing. So without further ado, let's get into the iconic design slash pieces. So the first 2 iconic design slash pieces from both brands I'm going to be talking about is the Off-White belt and the Bape Shark hoodie. So starting off with the Off-White belt, like this is probably Off-White's most iconic piece to this day. Like I can't even lie to you, like they just reinvented like the belt. Like normally a belt is sort of like subtle and like not really like a centerpiece of like an outfit. Like you can just have like a bland sort of outfit, like black on black on black, and like nothing really to it. But like if you have this belt, like it sort of just like makes it a centerpiece of the whole entire outfit, and at the same time it just sews everything together. And like Off-White fully gave like a different perspective on like the actual belt, because like normal belts are just supposed to be like not like a centerpiece and not really, you know, anything to like sort of look at. And like even with like designer belts, like it don't really hit the same as like a designer belt and like an Off-White belt. Like Off-White literally just like reinvented the belt, and like there was a good time where like everyone was just rocking this belt because like it was just so like iconic. Like this belt is just so recognizable and just so associated with Off-White, and yeah, just all round good item. Okay, cool, so that was a belt. Moving on to the Bape Shark hoodie, and I can't even lie to you, like the hype for this hoodie has sort of like died down, but like when it was at its peak, yeah, like I'm not even joking, like this was such a goated item. Like this is such a staple piece in like the Bape's catalog. Like I can't even lie to you, like this shouldn't really work, but it just somehow does. Like it's sort of like a bit childish and a sort of bit loud, but like I don't know, like as it's Bape, it sort of like makes it okay. Like for a clear example, like if any other brand did like, I don't know, like a tiger hoodie or something, like it wouldn't really work and it'd probably be like laughed off the street. But you know, as it's Bape, it just sort of makes it acceptable. And also like a cool addition to this is having the hoodie just zip all the way up to the top. Like I don't think like any brand prior to this has like done that, so they're basically just reinvented the hoodie, which, you know, is a cool concept. And if I'm completely honest, like this is very loud, but at the same time it sort of isn't, because it's only on the hood and like the rest of the jacket is just normal. Both of these items like at its peak was just absolutely crazy, but I would say like in terms of like popularity, I would say the Bape hoodie does take this one, because if you look at both like items in their popularity, the Bape Shark hoodie was just levels above the Off-White belt in my opinion. So with that being said, the Shark hoodie does win. Okay, cool, moving on to the next 2 iconic designs. We have the Off-White quotation marks and the Bape camo, and I can't even lie to you, this one's going to be very fucking difficult to judge, but let's get into this. So starting with the Bape camo, like this camo is just so recognizable and so like linked to Bape, like to the point where like if you see a camo on an item of clothing, you'd automatically assume that it's Bape. And like also like I like the way how like the Bape logo intertwines with the actual camo. Like I think that's just a hard hitting like touch. Although like the Bape camo is like very loud, especially like in certain colorways, like it's just very like aesthetically pleasing to look at. Like the Bape camo is just so iconic. I would go as far as to say like it's like the Gucci print for like streetwear. Okay, cool, so moving on to the quotation marks. The quotation marks are such like an iconic slash like symbolic like thing the Off-White does. Like, it's so like creative and like just so simple at the same time. Like, I can imagine like when this started like coming about, like brands was just slapping themselves in the face just thinking like, why didn't I come up with this? Like, it's such a simple like idea, but it just slaps differently. I would go as far as to say like the quotation marks are more like recognizable than the actual Off-White logo itself. And like the fact that like the quotation marks just basically state the obvious. Like whenever they do like a Nike collaboration, like they'll put like air on like the bubble, like yes we know it's air, or like just, you know, just stuff that just states the obvious, but you know, it's just like, yo, like, you know, I got quotation marks on my clothing, like, and like I can't even lie, like it's so hard to like piece these two brands together, because like obviously Bape isn't as big as it was like back in the day, but when it was big back in the day, like no brand could even touch it. So like it's sort of hard to like give this point like either side, but with that being said, I probably am going to give it to the quotation marks. However, if this was like 10-15 years ago and Off-White was still like popping, I probably would give the point to Bape, but obviously, you know, we're living in the present. Okay, cool. So the next verses we have is the logos. So let's start off with the Off-White logo, and this logo is very different, just to say the least. Like, I like the way that they put like the big logo on like the back of the clothing. Like, I know it's a bit loud and a bit obnoxious, and like it's been like, you know, used so many times, but it is a cool sort of concept, and it does look very clean. Like, I can't even lie to you. However, like it don't really scream Off-White like the quotation marks does. If I saw this on like any other bit of clothing, like not the back, like I wouldn't really automatically assume that that is Off-White like how like the quotation marks does. But regardless, like still a clean cut logo. And let's move on to the Bape logo now. Okay, so the Bape logo is just infamous with Bape. Like obviously it's a logo, but they incorporate it in like very like creative ways, and it is a decent logo. Like, I wouldn't say it's like mad good to look at. Like obviously it's just like an ape, like an animal. Like it sort of gives me like childish vibes, but like the way the Bape has like sort of come up, it sort of like just disregards like the childish vibes. And like the way they incorporate this logo into like other designs, like got to take your hat off to that. Like, you know, very cool and creative. And I am gonna have to give this point to Bape, just for the simple fact, because whenever you do see this logo, you know it is Bape. Like, whereas the Off-White logo, you don't, I mean, you do know it's Off-White, but like, you know, it don't stand out as Off-White. So our last verses in this segment, we're going to be going over both iconic shoes. And the ironic thing about both of these shoes is they're both like rip-offs of like certain brands. So obviously you got the Bape shoes, which are just a straight up knockoff of like the Nike Air Forces, and then you got the Off-White shoes, which are just a straight up knockoff of the Vans shoe. So let's talk about the Bape shoes first. And in my opinion, like the reason why this shoe just got so big was because Soulja Boy actually put these shoes in his like biggest song ever. And who knows, like maybe without the Soulja Boy cosign, like these shoes wouldn't have even like be as big as they were. But that being said, like at the time, like these shoes was just so big, like just crazily big, like even bigger than the Air Forces at the time. And I'm not even joking, like say if you rocked up to like a function with like Air Forces and like everyone was wearing the Bape shoes, like I'm sorry, yeah, but you are the joke of the whole entire night. And like what I like about these shoes is like they just do so many like different like colorways and just so many like variations of it. And I do like the shiny finish it has on like the whole entire shoe. I feel like that just brings like an extra pop to the shoe. But moving on to the Off-White shoes, like these shoes were just very clean and stylish. I like the way that they've got the logo on like the side of the shoe as well. Like I feel like that is such a cool touch. And probably my most favorite touch it has on the shoe is the red zip tie. I think that just goes well with the shoe and just very just straight up gas. And yeah, just a very iconic shoe in the Off-White catalog. And with that being said, I'm probably gonna have to give this point to the Bape shoes, just because like how long they've been around, how iconic they are, and just all round just hard hitting shoe. So just a quick summary on who won what like subject in the category. So we have the shark hoodie that beat the Off-White belt, then we have the quotation marks which beat the Bape camo, and then we have the Bape logo that beat the Off-White logo, and then we have the Bape shoes that beat the Off-White shoes. So the winner of that round is going to be Bape. But okay, cool. So moving on to our next round, we have collaborations. So the first two collaborations I'm going to be talking about is Nike with Off-White and then Adidas with Bape. So starting off with Adidas. So Adidas has played a big part in doing collaborations with Bape. I think their first collaboration was in like 2006, and they've been doing collaborations like very frequently since then. However, there's collaborations, some better than others, and when I say better than others, a lot better than others. But that being said, like they do come out with cool concepts sometimes, and you know, just very like outstanding pieces. But with that being said, in recent years they've sort of like fallen off a bit, like not really much hype around it, not really much popularity. But when Bape and Adidas was doing like good collaborations, like they were just stuff of legend. I can't even lie to you. Like for example, like that big shark like jacket that they did with the Bape camo like all over it, like that was straight up fire, loud as fuck, but you know, it was a cool flex. flex. But moving on to the Nike collaboration, and I can't even lie to you, like this collaboration was just hyped as soon as it got announced. I believe their first collaboration was in 2017, and this was when like Off-White was at its peak, and ever since then they've been doing collaborations, I want to say like once, maybe twice a year, and the amount of classics that Off-White and Nike have like released is just stupid. And like with every collaboration that they do, they just up the level or just do something completely different, which is just, you know, just impressive. And like the collaborations between these two brands have such like a interest in like the public, and like this is probably Nike's biggest collaboration that they've sort of like secured, like other than like Michael Jordan. So with that being said, it's sort of like a no-brainer, but yeah, Nike does win this round. So moving on to the next collaboration, we have IKEA with Off-White and then Bape with Bape. So starting off with the IKEA collaboration, and this collaboration really came out of nowhere because who else is doing a collaboration with IKEA? Like no one does. And like this collaboration was like so unique and just so creative in like so many different ways, and also like it was well received by like the members of like the public and like the community. Like it just wasn't boring whatsoever, and I can't even lie to you, I have to talk about this item because, you know, it's just such a flex of an item. And the item that I'm talking about is the IKEA Off-White receipt rug, and like that is such a flex and a half. Like having a receipt as a rug, like just it just blows my mind, because like you get a receipt and you think nothing of it. It's like, bruv, it's just a receipt, whatever, but like having a receipt as a rug, like bruv, like crazy. And like yeah, just so many cool like concepts that they like did in this collaboration, and yeah, just all around well like good collaboration. Okay, cool. So moving on to Bape. If you don't know what Bape is, it's sort of like an ornament slash like toy company. Like a lot of people like collect these and obviously have them in their houses like ornaments and stuff. Like it's sort of like art in a sense. And yeah, Bape has done numerous collaborations with them, like very creative, cool concepts that they've actually done. Like they'll integrate like the Bape camo in with the actual like art pieces, or like they'll do like a Bape shark hoodie and like one of them, like yeah, you know, just very cool, just concepts. However, although they're very like cool and creative, like there's not really much to them. Like obviously if you've seen like a couple of them, you've basically seen them all. And like in terms of like popularity, like they are popular and probably popular like back in the day, but like as of now they don't really like, you know, no one really talks about them like that. So with that being said, I am gonna have to give this point to IKEA slash Off-White. So our last collaboration is going to be Pepsi versus Evian. Pepsi being Bape and Evian being Off-White. And the only reason I did these two as collaborations was because they're both like drinks bottles, so I thought fuck it. Like obviously you got the Off-White quotation marks, which just, you know, slap differently like I said. But apart from that, like it's just a normal Evian bottle, like, you know, it's just mediocre I suppose. So moving on to like the Pepsi bottle, like obviously like this Pepsi bottle come in like 3 different colorways: a pink, a normal Bape camo, a green one, and also a blue one I believe. Like not really much to say about like obviously both of these, they're just really standard like water bottles, not much to say. But with that being said, I am gonna have to give this point to the Pepsi bottle slash Bape, just for the simple fact that they did more than like one colorway, and like there was just more creativity involved, and like you can sort of keep these bottles and have them as like a souvenir or like an ornament, like if you wanna do that. So Off-White does win this round 2-1. But with that being said, like Bape's like collaboration catalog is just so like diverse, and like it was sort of hard for me to pick collaborations for Off-White because Off-White don't do many like collaborations, but like when it comes to Bape collaborations, like they've done collaborations just all over the place. So I just want to say, like, if this was just a whole collaboration, like obviously all of Bape's collaborations versus all of Off-White's collaborations, Bape would have won this round because their collaborations have just, you know, just succeeds Off-White's collaborations. So if I was going to be a dickhead, I would call this a draw, but I'm not going to be a dickhead, so I'm just going to give this point to Off-White. Alright, cool. So our last versus we're going to have is a clothing, and I do understand like this is very like objective. Like obviously some people may like a certain type of clothing, other people might like a different certain type of clothing, so it's really just in the eye of the beholder really. But with that being said, I am the beholder, so whatever I say is just rock solid. Like, so both brands sort of have like their own sort of like unique sort of style. Like I would say like Bape is sort of like loud in the sense of like it's just very like in your face sort of clothing, and then like Off-White is sort of like loud, but it's sort of like a subtle like loud. Like obviously it's not as loud as Bape, and it's very like it's such a subtle flex, if like you get me. And like I would say like Bape is just strictly like sort of like streetwear, but like Off-White is sort of like streetwear and like a luxury brand at the same time. Like sort of like dabbles in both, but like Bape has sort of like a lot of variety when it comes to like their clothes. Like they just have so many like different sort of concepts, and you know just come out with very like unique pieces, whereas like Off-White is sort of like stuck in the streetwear scene and like also like the designer brand sort of scene. Like they sort of mix and match with designer and like streetwear. I would say like Bape's designs I'm not going to say more creative, but just differently creative to Off-White. Like, I can't even lie to you, I do want to give this point to Bape, but I feel like I am going to give it to Off-White. That being said, like, Bape back in the day, like, was just a different kettle of fish. I feel like the reason why I'm going to give this point to Off-White is because it's so, like, more recent and so much in with the times. But, like, when it comes to Bape, like, Bape back in the day, yeah, like, I'm not even capping, but, like, they had other brands on, like, ropes, like, not even joking. Like, back in the day, like, Bape was the brand to be. Like, everyone was sort of, like, copying them, sort of, like, biting off their style and that, and like they innovated the streetwear like scene just to a whole different place, and like they filled like a big gap in the streetwear market, which, you know, was needed at the time. However, with that being said, like Off-White sort of did the same thing by like bridging like designer and streetwear brands like together, and also Off-White has done a lot of innovation themselves as well. So with the clothing, I am gonna have to give it to Off-White. So yeah, in total, Off-White is our definitive winner. They are the definitive winner just by a hair. Like, I'm not even joking, like about 2 points above Bape. But yeah, that's going to be it for today's video. This was sort of like a longer video, but if you did enjoy this video, please leave a like, a comment, and also subscribe, and let me know down in the comment section what other like brands you want me to do verses with. And until next time, I'm out.